everything goes. Let's go. Feel me? Everything goes when the homies hate your personal taste. Shakur over tank type of take, it be hurting your rank. Heated debates about who's better between the birds or the Saints. Or post games in which Diggs is really worse in the paint. And John, Ian, and Dan on the pod, future icons. Ian screaming go birds and Dan trying to fight John. A Rockets fan with the Saints from Philly with a python. Cross me and the boys step over him like he Tyron. Eagle season end with a bowl and nobody sober. Let the Saints be the chance and Dan on bourbon and Nola. Everything goes. Place your bets with a take the over. Philly niggas wanna see how red that we gon' make October. At game time is game time. Need your picks and can clutch it. Gave my ticket to John, brought me back with a bucket. CP3 on the assist and Kawhi be getting his touches. But I'm watching Bron cooking my ticket and I'm like fuck it. Let Ian tell it. He gon' say that Bron is the GOAT. Coming back from 3-1 and barely had him a coach. MJ don't got these records so we laughing the most. And I watched it with my own eyes so now I'm back in the host. I get my locks from Dan and lock it in on fantasy picks. Number one in every league, they can't stand me with this. I'm fleecing the league with every trade, I dismantle it quick. Wave a wire, watching the pod to help me handle the shit. Legendary status, keep watching, we gon' reach that. But reach too far, my rocket shooting, and I gotta teach that. Fill the gap with a hit stick. Think I don't see that Hall of Fame vision switching from B-Dog to the T-Mac. On your wrist, John Dane time, and everything froze. Errol Spence washed up then, and everyone knows you can't see. I see 3 when comparing to those, cause every podcast can't handle when everything goes.
Welcome back to Everything Goes. Today I'm in the studio with my man John.
Yo, every time the intro get popping, I got cue the Jay-Z Joe. Where you like?
Got my man E in the studio.
What's up, gang? I'm back in this John. Half alive.
Half alive is crazy. First and foremost, we just want to thank everybody that's tapped in and everybody that will tap in. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Your support is very much appreciated. But before we jump into our games and topics for today, we got to start with some breaking news. Got some breaking news in the NFL world. I'm a little sad to announce it, but we got to talk about it. You know what I mean? Let me pull it up for y'all. So starting with Daniel Jones, season-ending injury, torn Achilles. He's down for the year. The Colts signed Phillip Rivers as his replacement. What do you guys think about that?
I think the Colts had a season-ending injury. The season, and then that was the Colts season. I don't think it's no more complicated than that. Phillip Rivers is 65 years old, and he retired for a reason. He probably better than they backup now, but they can't compete or contend in the AFC right now. It's too stacked for Phillip Rivers to lead y'all to the promised land. But it is what it is. And I'm not going to lie, like I told y'all last week, I think that the Colts were a legit contender in the AFC. But also in the situations like this where stuff seems or feels too good to be true, I'm not even going to lie, I'd be more like in support of something. Like I'd rather the Colts be able to say right now, damn, what would have happened if Daniel Jones was healthy for an entire year, as opposed to go in the first round and get smacked by somebody that we would have liked to see them compete against. So, but their season is over 1,000%. It's hard to hear for Daniel Jones, feel for him, but yeah, it's a wrap.
Gotcha. How you feel about it, John?
They cooked. They currently 8-5, third in the division. It's not much to talk about with this joint. Like I feel really, who would have thought at the beginning of the season we would be saying that Daniel Jones suffered a season-ending injury, and this equates to the Colts having a season-ending injury. I think that's the crazy part about this. But do want to give Danny the props for the season that he had, because he would have definitely probably been on some people's MVP ballots if they won, like 11, 12 games, which they were on the track to do, honestly. So, yeah, they're cooked. I would have liked to see them find somebody else for key. Get one of these backups around the league. I don't really see why we signed a 45-year-old Phillip Rivers who hasn't played football in 5 years. But, hey, power to him.
They could have called Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck is
Phillip.
Got you. So, I mean, for me, I'm more, like I said at the beginning, I'm more so upset for Daniel Jones. Like John pointed out, who would have thought this deep into the year we would be talking about Daniel Jones and the Colts potentially doing something in the postseason? But up until, 2 weeks ago, they was leading their division. They was the number 3 seed in the AFC, and the season looked bright for them. So it's definitely disappointing to see Daniel Jones go out. I'm just hoping that he's able to come back next year, and even if he don't look as great as he did this year, he looks somewhat competent, and we don't go back to the Dave Jones of old. Because I would hate for this to have been his only, like, you mean legitimate year in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm not counting that Giants year when he had
Not a
15
7 year
passing
with D-ball.
touchdowns.
They beat Kirko.
Yeah. And when he had 15 passing touchdowns, no, I'm not counting that. But so yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed at Daniel Jones. But I don't. You mean I didn't think the Colts was gonna make it out the AFC this year anyway. So I look at it for them. They should just use it as a building year. Sauce also went down over there. Who knows when Sauce is coming back? So your quarterback is down. Arguably, your best player on defense is down, and that's definitely arguably because y'all know how I feel about Sauce. So it is what it is. Before we move off of this, though, I just want to ask you guys. I know Cam said something about it. Do y'all think Cam was serious when he said he feel as though it was a slap in the face that the coach ain't reach out to him and just went ahead and signed 44-year-old Phillip Rivers? He's basically saying he's still in shape. He's still working out.
Was he serious? That's the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was dead ass serious.
No
But
kidding.
it's still a joke. It still don't mean that we take him serious. Like he meant every word that he said when he answered that question. But Kim, you suck. Like I'm sorry, like you not you suck. That's an apology. You're
Can't play
right
football
now,
no more.
right now Phillip Rivers and right now Cam Newton. I ain't gonna lie, that's very debatable. Like based on how Phillip Rivers plays, like, how he looks when he plays, based off the last time we saw Cam Newton on the football field. Yeah, like that's debatable. So yeah, he was dead serious.
Got you. What about you, E?
Right. Like you said, he was dead serious, and I don't think it's a matter of talent. It's just we don't like literally. You damn near had a career-ending injury with your shoulder. Got your shoulder, whatever was wrong with your arm up here. You got your surgery, and you never looked the same again. We was all rooting for you when you was in New England. When you went back home to Carolina, you was back, and then you got benched again. So it's like, again, we saw enough of you, Cam. At the very least, we know Phillip Rivers is a football mind. And he can think football. He can go through his reads, stuff like that. Like he's still actively coaching in his hometown, stuff like that. So I think that they prioritizing Phillip Rivers' mind over that. But Cam was dead serious, and like John said, that don't mean we got to take him serious because I would never consider signing Cam, not as a backup, not as like. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But before we jump into our game, catcher pass, I just want to hold on. Just want to put this up
Zay
there.
Doe, damn, I can see that.
Shout out Zay. Yeah, we appreciate
Shout out
you.
to Zay.
Yeah, we're going to jump into our first game of today, catcher pass. And I think catcher pass is definitely going to shock a lot of you guys today. Feel free to comment below. Let us know what y'all think. But so the first statement for catcher pass, this current OKC team is more dominant than the 2015-16.
That's first? I didn't know that was first. I'm not going first, yo.
Yo,
How you feel, John?
I got this answer. With all these is coming up. I feel like everything we got on the slate today has been tough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Low key, I'm a, and it's hard to say because we only 25 games in. I'm a catch for now, but my answer could 100% change throughout the rest of the season because they could lose 15 games in the season. You never know. But I'm a catch for now, and why I say that is, I think at first I looked at best player and how much their best player is dominating, and honestly, it's very even. Like, granted, right now, they saying should they not playing fourth quarters? Shea is the game is tied about half. Shea is playing a half, and he's average. We talking about on street. We averaging 32, 6 and 4 on over 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and right about 88% free throw. And Steph at that point in time was going crazy. He was shooting 45% from 3 on 11 attempts, averaging 30. So then you go after that, they're supporting Cass and also the defensive side of the ball. Like, I think that team, that 73-9 Warriors team, was not lacking defensively at all. But I feel like when you look at the margin of victory that OKC is winning by, is blowing teams out the OKC. Not to say take away Golden State. Golden State was doing it too. But that margin of victory is higher as opposed to how it was with Golden State. And I also think their defensive presence, how OKC is right now in this present day as opposed to OKC, is not night and day, but they are way more advanced than that Golden State team. And especially when you consider your best player. Steph is not a defensive menace. Obviously, we all know. He'll try, but he's liable to get cooked. Shea, on the other hand, like, he could he doesn't put his all on the defensive side of the ball. But if you put Shea on, you don't want to see Shea on the island. Truthfully, if you are a guard, because he is capable of locking somebody down. So I'm gonna catch this John and go based off the depth of their team and also how they are defensively and how bad they're beating teams in comparison to that Golden State team. So I'm gonna catch this John.
So for me, I'm gonna go second. I'm gonna let you off the hook right now, Ian. So yeah, because this is actually easy for me. I'm not scared to say it. I'm catching this as well for literally every reason that my man John just said. Like he pointed out at the beginning, it can change depending how the rest of the season shake out. But I was catching this before they even what they tied the best start in NBA history.
Yeah,
Was it last night or the
they
night before
both
that? Yeah, I was
they both
catching it
started
before
24
that
and
even.
one.
Yeah, regardless of the fact, just their defensive talent all around the board, how deep they are as a team, and just I do want to point this out. Shea is the only starter this year that has not missed time, and it doesn't seem to matter. Every other guy has missed time, and they still what 25-1, 24-1.
You said the only star that hasn't missed time.
No, the only starter.
Starter. Okay.
Yes, he's the only starter that hasn't missed time over there in OKC. The other four starters has missed a couple games, and it doesn't matter. So got you. What about you, E?
I'm catching him for the same reason. I think that, like John said, I think it was a harder question for me to answer. I started to try to look at numbers and compare numbers like defensive ratings and defensive efficiency and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
truth be told, the Warriors and that year, that 2015-2016 season, their defensive rating for the entire year was higher than what the Thunder's defensive rating is right now. Right. But the margin of difference between where the Thunder are and where the rest of the league is right now versus what like at that time, I think the Spurs still had the highest defensive rating in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the only, I think that's one of the last teams to have a defensive rating under 100, right? And so when you start to compare errors and stuff like that, the numbers get a little bit tricky. So like you got to bring it back to the eye test.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like John said, I think the team is just too dominant defensively. They also got guys that can put the ball in the basket, and they got depth that is talent on their team. But the way that the Warriors, the 2015-2016 Warriors team dominated was I'm putting the ball in the rim and you cannot stop me. And as hard as that is to stop, I think it's easier to look at a Warriors team and attempt to game plan for these two jump shooters and role
Mm-hmm.
players around them than to game plan for a team of dogs that's going to be in your chest and in your pockets for
Exactly.
48 minutes. So
Got
like he said,
9,
I
10,
think
11 players deep, bro.
yeah. So like he said, I think that it can definitely change. I think that if the question was different, which team is better, I still think I'm taking the Warriors. I think that I probably might take the Warriors in a 7-game series, but in terms of what team is more dominant in their era of basketball, I think that right now, the Thunder would be the more dominant team. So I'm catching as well.
Gotcha. So we was unanimous up here. They was unanimous in the chat as well. Got people catching.
Who
So
Can
we
we
that?
got.
get
That's Chris from a burner account. Hell yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
Bird account's crazy?
So yeah, that's my man Chris. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the next statement for catcher pass. Shador Sanders has proven he's a franchise NFL starting quarterback. And before you guys answer this question real quick, I just want to pull something up for everybody to look at. Hold on.
I don't care what you pull up. No, I'm
It's
passing.
not gonna change your answer.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
passing.
so I'm gonna let you go first. Hey, what you think?
I'm passing. I love Shador. I love his game. I love the tape. Um, he played, like you said, what you just put up is 3 starts. There's
Mm-hmm.
nobody that I've watched play football in the history of the NFL that could convince me that they're a franchise quarterback in 3 starts. Unless those 3 starts are the first round of the playoffs, the AFC Championship game, and then the Super Bowl, and they win. I think his trajectory is high, and he's proven that he's the quarterback that's worth investing in Cleveland. But franchise quarterback is too early to say, and hopefully he prove us right that he is a franchise quarterback, but he hasn't done enough to prove that yet.
Got you. What about you, John?
And I'm the same. I think with Shador, has he proven that he's a franchise quarterback? No. But me personally, do I think he is a franchise quarterback? Absolutely. And I believe, like Ian said, it also doesn't help with these to kind of elaborate on that because we have the same answer. These
Mm-hmm.
3 teams that he did play to, They beat the Raiders and they stink. They're 2-11. And then they played the 49ers and they got blew out basically. And then coaching malpractice, I believe, was pretty much the reason that they lost to the Raiders. I mean the
Mhm.
Raiders. The Titans. They lost by 2 points. And I want to get into too deep into it. He scored 2 touchdowns at the end of the game, and each time they went for 2 point conversions. Could have tied the game so we can go to overtime. That's neither here nor there. So, and as far as the question goes, I'm definitely gonna, say no, President John. I think he needs to do it again, get the opportunity to, go
Mhm.
out there and prove and be a full time starter and be put in a position to succeed, so that we can make a fair evaluation on what he's if he's is able to be a franchise quarterback. So,
Gotcha. So for me, I'm shocked. Once again, we all in agreement because I'm gonna go ahead and pass on this as well. Like my man Ian said, it's only been 3 games. I don't care who you played. Like Ian said, unless you starting out in the postseason, then you in the chip game, then you in the bowl.
real
Three
rap.
games is not enough. I don't care how many stats you put up. Prime example, definitely not comparing him to JJ McCarthy, but people would snap at JJ McCarthy his first game when he came back in the second half and he looked so great. And people was like, I just know it. I know he's it. I know he got that it factor. He ain't shown it since then. Oh, I'm lying. Outside of 1 week last week, he looked decent last week. But come on now. You gotta go out there. I need you to go out there like John said and do it again. Obviously the year is about to finish up. Go into the off season as the full time starter, get your reps in as the starting quarterback, come back and start the year next year, and I want to see how you look. And
And
then I'll go ahead,
sorry.
John.
No, I was gonna say, and I do think kind of how he finishes the year. I would change my opinion because on the schedule they have Chicago, who was the number one seed before they got belted by the Packers, and then
Mhm.
after that they have Buffalo. That's Josh Allen, and then after that they have Pittsburgh, playoff team, and the last game to call the season they have the Bengals. And although the Bengals, the record is trash, Joe Burrow will be playing, and that also is a divisional game. So my opinion could change by the end of the season, I believe. So
Well, not for me. I gotta see something. No, no, I'm just being honest. I'm just
you're
being
a rep.
honest.
I respect that though. I ain't gonna lie, I respect that.
Yeah, I'm just being
No, no
honest.
kizzy though.
Moving on to the last question, the catcher pass. CP3 can still contribute to a playoff. But I'm gonna start with my man E on this one. Yeah,
Ah!
Well,
yeah.
I'm catching. I'm catching. I don't think that he can join the playoff team right now and become a starter and play 30 minutes and contribute to the season. But I think he can go somewhere and play 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes during the regular season, and then play critical playoff minutes. I think that the point guard is in a sense, a dying art, a dying position right now in the NBA, and we're getting too carried away with guys that can handle the basketball. Just because you can handle the basketball does not mean that you can run an offense, create an offense, get into an offense. And I think that Chris Paul is still able to do that. I think that it's multiple teams in the league right now that are lacking a point guard that again they may have a ball handler, they may have somebody that's initiating offense right now, but come playoff time, you're gonna need somebody that can make a post entry pass. You're gonna need somebody that could get KD the ball at the elbow, those type of passes. So I think that he can still contribute to a playoff team. And like I said, like the Rockets are a team, the Timberwolves are a team. And him and Mike Conley, like Mike Conley is there, but again, he can have that kind of role on the team and contribute to what a team is trying to do in the playoffs. So I'm catching this.
Got you. I feel like Ian. I feel like you summoned me to go next when you called the Rockets. I'm sorry, John. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna also catch this because I'm down with that. CP3, we can definitely use you in H Town. I think it's a bunch of teams, a bunch of playoff contenders that can use Chris Paul coming off their bench, giving them 15 minutes a night. Is he gonna go out there and play a starting role or play 25 minutes? No, but you can play 15 minutes. Now the only problem is, like they pointed out in LA, the way he's talking to people. If you come to Houston, I need you to know that your voice is not the loudest voice. It's Ime, and you know that. That's unquestionable. And then secondly is Kevin Durant. As much as I don't like him, so that's chain of commandment right there. And then we got a bunch of young, well, not a bunch. I'm gonna say two young stars that can turn into superstars. So you got to know your role. It was clear that I'm not gonna say it was clear. It was arguments that he didn't know his role in LA. So as long as he's not gonna bring that drama with him, I think he can still play playoff basketball and contribute in the winning way. So I'm gonna catch this.
So I'm a pass. Although, and this was hard for me too. But I am gonna pass. And
Mhm.
Ian, like Ian said, we do get caught up, and I'm very glad that he said this. We do get caught up in ball handlers versus point guards. Like Chris Paul, I mean, I can't think of him off the top of my head, although I'm sure somebody I'm missing. Of like, I guess like pure points of like a point guard. Chris Paul is one of the only ones left. It's a dying, I guess, archetype of player. But why I pass is because I also feel like when you say contribute to a playoff team, I think Chris Paul's contribution, like if he do go out there and give you 15 minutes, I feel like at this point in his career, yes, he is that point guard archetype, but
Mhm.
it's I don't think there's a true impact on what would be a contender. And when I think of contender, I'm thinking of like the Nuggets or a team like OKC or even the Rockets or even the East. You got the Knicks, the Pistons, etc. Like I don't think his 15 minutes or however many he get 18 minutes would be that much of an impact to a contender. But I
Yeah.
do believe, although I am going to pass, I can say his presence as a vet because I am a person that thinks that it's very foolish for NBA teams in the past couple of years to have gone away from having veteran players on the team to guide these young players. I can say that what he is able to give a team is that, but that doesn't sway my answer as far as impactfulness to a contender. So I would pass.
So let me just ask you this before we move on. You don't think he can come in and help my Rockets right now?
No,
No, honestly, bro,
Why not?
I'm serious
yeah, cause
because I think when you say help, like I don't where I see the Rockets at right now. That's why I guess the question like impact. Where I see the Rockets at right now, if you add Chris Paul to that team, I don't think his ability makes up for y'all to, I guess, be better, in my opinion. That's why I say no. Like I think y'all team is y'all have a solid and good team, and you add Chris Paul to that. And for me, he's not making a difference because I feel like at this point of where he is in his career, he's just not that player, and that's just not my opinion. A lot of people disagree, but I don't think they're taking y'all from you know because I already think y'all a contender. So I don't think he's changing y'all from that where y'all borderline could just get smacked to
mhm.
that extra oomph to go to the chip and win the chip like that. No, I don't
Do
see
you
that.
think do you think Thompson Twin looks better this year than he did last year, John?
Yeah, yeah. Damn, you put me on the spot. Damn.
No, that's
I,
a hard question,
I,
but
I, would, I would say yeah. Oh, I would say yeah, slight. Oh my god, I would say yes, slightly, but nothing crazy. Like I think he has subtly improved as a basketball player. Like I don't think there's any aspect of his game that he's shown this season where he's like, oh yeah, you that much better. I think from last year to this year, he has taken that step into more of an assertive role, and
mhm.
that has been able to showcase and display more of his game. I think as opposed to last year. So I would say yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
what you about to say, Dan?
No, so I was gonna answer the question for John if he didn't have an answer. My opinion on it, like John said, I feel as though he has gotten like slightly better. He didn't take that third year leap that everybody thought he was gonna take, but that's also a part of him now having to learn a new role and him having to be in control of the
Right,
flow of offense
right,
more than he normally would have to be.
right,
So I'm not mad at him at all. I get what you're saying though, Ian. Maybe having Chris Paul would help because Amin is not right now what we need him to be or
right.
what we thought he would be this year three. Yes, even though it's 26 games into the year, you can say that. Yes, it's going to take Amin an extra year or two.
Yeah, and I don't think with a men, I don't think it's a issue of oh yeah, he didn't transform into the point guard that we need yet, so now we're panicking. I think that a men is in a similar situation to Ben Simmons, and in the space of he cannot shoot the basketball, and like we've seen his jump shot improve a little bit. He can hit a jump shot here and there, but consistently he's not a good 3-point shooter. Being on the ball and not being a good 3-point shooter, it limits his game sometimes. So yes, he's assertive in some ways and he's able to create more and add to his bag, be shifty, all of those things. but I think that he's most dangerous. Just again, looking from last year to this year, do I think that he's a little bit more talented and understanding the game? Absolutely. But again, he's playing a different role right now. I think that if he was off the ball where he can cut and he can go back door and he can fly and he's not responsible for getting Kevin Durant the basketball. If Kevin Durant is going to his elbow to pull up and Thompson Twin is cutting back door, then that opens up another realm and aspect of his basketball of his game. But right now, Thompson Twin is throwing that entry pass to KD at the elbow and then getting back as the leak out, guard to make sure that somebody don't, cherry pick. So I think that, like I said, I'm not saying that he's not. I definitely agree that he's expanded on his game, but I think that it's things that he doesn't get to do or emphasis or on the game that he could make that he doesn't have the same opportunity because he's on the ball so much. So that's why I asked that question to allude back to how I feel Chris Paul could impact that team, if not just like you said, being a vet and being able to show him the ropes about trying to be a point guard in the NBA, because I still don't think that Amen is a point guard per se.
So yeah, I agree with everything you just said, Ian. So we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna talk about Amen a different day because that's definitely something I do want to talk about. I ain't even gonna lie.
Right.
So yeah, moving on to our first topic of today. We got a special guest joining us. Let me bring him up here. We got our man Chris.
My guy.
Chris, welcome to the show, bro. How you doing?
You muted, bro.
Oh, yeah. I think your mic might still be muted. There you go. Welcome
Yeah,
to the show, bro. How you
what's up,
doing?
gang? Y'all good?
So my boy.
Yes, sir.
I've been waiting all week for this topic, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump right into it. It's a two-part topic, so we're gonna tackle part one right now. So, what's your thoughts on the opening line of Theo versus Shakur? And for those of you that haven't seen it, I'm gonna bring it up right now for you guys. I guess I'll go ahead and start with you, Chris. What you think about the opening lines?
I think it's accurate. Vegas they're smart. I was hoping it would be a little closer, honestly, so I won't have to get too specific on how Shakur going to win. I just wanted to take his money line, but it means Shakur unanimous decision or by decision. That's what I'm taking, but it's accurate in my opinion. Got
you. How you feel about it, Ian?
I mean, again, we had ain't T.O. the champ?
Yes.
Like he's fighting on what you say. He fighting on the left side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think I don't know. I feel like looking at boxing, I think Shakur is a better fighter as well. So like if I was a betting man, obviously I'm betting on Shakur. But the narrative around T.O., before this fight was made, was that he that he was one of the guys that could beat Shakur and he was going to be the kryptonite for Shakur and his fight style. So, and in the same breath that I'm like, yeah, I agree, Shakur is a better fighter. I think it's like keep that same energy y'all had, kind of like you said. Like we shouldn't be having to pick Shakur by unanimous decision. It should be Shakur plus 100. He moving up to new weight to go fight the champion. Yeah, he top 10, whatever his ranking is in terms of pound for pound. But at the end of the day, he moving up to go fight a champion in a new weight class. So I would have liked the odds to be a little bit different, but it is what it is. Like he said, Shakur by whatever.
Got you. What about you, John?
I agree with everything Ian said, and I'll go a step further. But with him being a champ to be plus 250, not to say that's crazy, but I think it should definitely be a little bit closer, like damn near a pick 'em, based off one, the narrative, and then two, like Ian just said, with him being the champ. Like minus 350 on Shakur and then plus 250 on T.O. Like I think that's just, and I think everybody here is probably gonna pick Shakur in this fight. Well, obviously yes, because I know Dan, you're picking Shakur, and then them two just pick Shakur, and I'm doing it the same thing. So it's like, although we all think Shakur is a better fighter, is gonna win. As the narratives plus being a champ should get you a lot closer to than the split that we have on this betting line right now. So I'm a little surprised on how it is being laid on this draw, but I mean that's the lines, and I guess the numbers speak for themselves. So
yeah, so like both like y'all all just pointed out, essentially, Chris, I'm gonna start with what you said. The lines is accurate. That's what it should be if you just looking at it. If you watching both fighters on tape, that's what the line should be. If they fight 4 times, 9 times out of 10, Shakur is gonna win 3 of them. Theo might get 1, and that's how I look at the fight. I do think Theo has a tough style for Shakur, but I do think he's gonna figure it out definitely starting by round 4 or 5. If Theo let him get in his groove, it'll be lights out, and he'll basically be able to do whatever he want. But the narrative that's been pushed for the past couple of years as Theo being one of the guys that can knock Shakur head off, that can knock Shakur out, and even when the fight was in the works, you got people on Twitter saying, "Oh, Shakur not gonna really sign the fight. They just talking. This day 20 of them talking on Twitter. He don't really want to fight Theo. Okay, the fight is now signed and delivered, and these the odds. Like, come on now." And then I hear people talking about if Theo win, it's a bigger accomplishment for him than it would be for Shakur, and I'm just trying to figure out how. Like, I understand how accomplished Shakur is. Obviously, that's my favorite fighter. But at the same time, Teofimo Lopez is a 2 division weight champion. He's had the Ring Magazine belt twice at 135, and he has it currently at 140, and he was undisputed at 135. So I don't really understand it. This is an undisputed fighter that has held 2 Ring Magazine belts, and he's plus 250. Are you kidding me? that's honestly
He
how
said
I
he
look.
was Peeper undisputed.
It is crazy though. It really is crazy for him to be
Like,
that, the odds to be that against him.
Lopsided.
and Shakur
Yeah.
fight in a new weight class. I just feel like I don't like what's going on. Right now. I really don't. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get the part 2 of this question, starting with the new narrative change, basically about Shakur, and then a whole bunch of guys calling him out now, saying that they want to fight him. Literally, the Theo fight just got signed not even 2 weeks ago. You already got 6 guys essentially saying they want to fight him next. A few of the guys you can see. Connor Ben say he want to fight him next. You got Oshaki Foster that just fought for the interim WBC 135 title. He said he want him next. Pitbull Cruz essentially said he wanted the winner of him and Theo, but now he may or may not be changing his mind. Then you got the boy. I don't even know how to say his name. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think it's Jarrett or whatever, but he wants to fight Shakur as well. I think he's about to fight for the mandatory WBC that they just let Oshaki Foster fight for last week. They already then stripped the belt, and now he about to fight for it in about 3 or 4 weeks. And so it's a lot going on. What y'all feel about it?
I think it changed. It changed up when you, at least from Shakur or as a person standpoint and champion standpoint, people change up. I guess when you get on, like now that, not to say Shakur wasn't on, but I think now he's fighting T.O. and his biggest fight of his career up until this point, and he's making more noise, and now more people want to see him because they probably, if I had to take a guess, because they probably think he's sweet. It's like, oh, okay, like you now you up. I haven't got the chance to see you, but now you running through these guys and you got some clout and you got some noise and you moving up, but you soft. So now I want to call you out and I want to see you so I can get that acclamation that you getting from being in the spot because I'm better than you. And I think it's not to say it's corny, but I guess it's the competitor in most fighters, and I think that's just how it goes when you get to a certain level of stardom, for lack of better terms. Now everybody want a piece of the pie now, especially considering if Shakur wins this fight, and then it'll be okay. Now I'm really trying to take it to him and see what's up because I can get in that trick him on the spot basically if you beat him. So
I don't think they think he's sweet. I think because I feel like before recently the narrative was always that Shakur is boring and his fights are boring because he's a defensive fighter and blah blah blah. I think it's more of a situation of before he was a defensive fighter, walking people, like not walking people down, but like racking up wins essentially, and people didn't want to watch him, so it was less money involved. I think now is more money behind his name, is more views that come with the Shakur Stevenson fight, and then on top of that is multiple people in the boxing world, whether it be fighters or analysts. Where again, I don't know where they got this from, but they talk about he got pillows for hands and stuff like that. So I think it's more about people feeling like, all right, he's not going to come at me and dictate the fight. He's going to defend, and all I got to do is hit him one time. Yeah, like not like I'm gonna knock him out, but more so again, if he can't knock me out, I like my chances to go on there and figure out a spot, pick my spots, and be able to fight him. Listen, bro, in boxing, everybody want that stage once, like he said, once John said, once your name got a little bit of clout behind it and it's a little bit of following to it, everybody want to, that opportunity to knock you off their high horse. So
Mm-hmm.
I
What
say
about
lock up and walk them down.
I feel like I agree with what both of y'all said. I think for years the narrative has been, he's boring. He don't really sell fights because at one point he was fighting on Thursday nights. He did
mm-hmm.
like once or twice.
ESPN Thursday night?
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, but I think with the last performance specifically, how he looked against Zapata is to a point where he's just unavoidable. You gotta fight him now because it's like whether you still want to call him boring or not. He had a great performance. He showed that he can put on a great fight, a fan-friendly fight
Mm-hmm.
where even a casual can enjoy it. So it's to the point. I think not every fighter that has been avoided, it gets to a point where they're unavoidable, where you have to fight them because, I mean, they basically at the top of whatever division that they're in. So I think that's where it's to the point. And I do think, honestly, I don't want to downplay any pro boxer or anything, but I don't think these guys necessarily want to fight Shakur still.
Mm-hmm.
But it's to the point where it's like, all right, we gotta fight him. I mean, we can't keep the excuses is running low. You gotta fight him at this point. So that's what I think.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna piggyback off of everything that Crit, both you and Ian just said. I agree with everything. So I think they're looking at it from a point of, okay, he just had his last fight with Williams Zepeda, and I think that's the biggest factor behind it. Now, you seen the way he fought Williams Zepeda. A lot of people wasn't watching a lot of his old fights, so they didn't know that he can do that. That been in his bag. So they seen him go out there, have, like Chris said, a fan friendly fight, but also do something that's sneaky beautifully, and it's still a master class to the people that like boxing, that's watching boxing. We can see the small subtle movements that you did in the ring. It wasn't just a brawl. Yes, you stood in front of him, and yes, it was a lot of punches thrown, but it was not just a back and forth brawl. It was a method to the madness in the boxing ring. And so I think because of that fight, a lot of people seen that he gained more recognition, he gained more fans, he got Turkey 100% behind them now, and a lot of people, they want to get that spotlight. They want to get on them Turkey cards, them ring cards. They want to make that type of money. So now it's at the point, like Chris said, he is unavoidable. He's one of Turkey's favorite guys right now. So if you want to get on a ring card and you around his weight class, who you think the first name Turkey giving you? Okay, then you got to fight him. Oh, well, I don't want to fight you. Okay, well then you're not getting on. Because I'm not. That's real right. I'm not having number 23 versus number 25 on a Turkey card. It's top 5 versus top 5. That's how I gotta have it. That's how Turkey been laying it out, and it's been beautiful to see for us boxing fans. I do think a lot of these guys are now put in a situation where they have to fight Shakur now to get their name to that next level. I was really shocked to hear Pitbull Cruz say he want the winner of Shakur and Theo after he avoided Shakur for 2 years and said his style was boring and he don't want somebody that's going to run around the ring and et cetera, et cetera. No, Pitbull. It's the simple fact that you knew you could not beat him. So same way that Rayo just did you, Shakur would have did you.
Way worse.
That's honestly what it is. And so I just feel like Shakur, he's in that spot now where, yes, he is the B-side for this event, but once he beat Teofimo Lopez, this will be his last time being the B-side, unless maybe the Tank fight finally do happen. But even still, at that point, Shakur has accomplished so much that, no, you the B-side or we're not fighting because I don't need you no more. So yeah, I just think it's a whole bunch of switching up going on. I just need everybody to keep that same energy because January 31st has been a night that he's been waiting for a while, and he's gonna put on a masterclass, and it's gonna be a great performance between him and Teofimo Lopez. Before we get you out of here, Chris, I want to ask you 2 more things because I know you be on Twitter on the Boxing World how I do. Why was people on there talking about Shakur is ducking O'Shaquie Foster? Do they not understand how boxing works? Like that really upset me. That was another narrative that I did not like. He got 6 people calling him out. If he can't fight all 6 next. So at the end of the day, y'all gonna say he ducking somebody, and y'all just chose to say he ducking O'Shaquie Foster.
Yeah, I just don't understand in what world would he be ducking a nigga named.
You're like, who?
You feel me? Oh, I mean, salute to him. He did his thing last weekend, but like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
You're not known unless you actually tapped into boxing. Yeah, we know it would be a nice fight, an interesting fight, but come on, bro. We at that point where we need a good fight, but we also need to make some profit at the same time. You're not bringing no profit, bro. I'm sorry to say, like,
Bro, like if he fighting you, bro, that shit 90-10. Like,
come on, bro.
I need the whole pot, bro. Who are you?
Like the odds would be
last weekend.
score negative 2,000 to win. Like, I'm just
like
giving you the game, bro.
At that point where he want to make the big fights happen. He want to fight other guys that got names, other guys that accomplished stuff.
He's like, what, like 28 now?
Yeah, he's looking for his legacy fights.
Yeah.
Foster is a step backwards.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, unless it would be to unify for like if that was a fight to become undisputed or something like that. All right, cool. But
that's me defending my belt to you.
Yeah, like it don't.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
If he decides to go back down, the fight happened, then the fight happened. But as of right now, I'm not pressuring him to go fight no O'Shaquie Foster. I know what's at stake. I understand the opportunities that he got after this Theo fight once he's victorious. And so the last question I wanted to ask you, Chris, we got another big fight coming up the week before Theo versus Shakur. We got Andy Cruz versus Raymond Mordetaya. Who you think gonna win that fight?
To be honest, I didn't even know they was fighting, bro.
It's gonna be a great one. January 24th. Me personally, I do think Andy gonna get the job done. Even though Andy has only had 6 or 7 professional fights, I just think his amateur background, his Olympian pedigree, just his style of boxing is gonna be able to. He's gonna be able to go in there and outbox Raymond Mordetaya.
Yeah, Andy is nice.
Yeah, Andy is nice, and he's gonna show that night. I do think he got enough pop to keep Mordetaya off of him, and I definitely see him out.
Yeah, my bad, bro. I was not prepared for that one.
So yeah, we definitely appreciate you joining the show.
Sure.
You back?
Can I just say one thing? My bad. OKC coming for that record. Coming for that record, and we are more dominant too. I ain't my fault. I know this. I mean, y'all already passed that topic. We are more dominant. We coming for that record,
bro. They set the record and then lost in a chip. So like, okay, cool.
We're not them. We're not them. We don't gotta. We're not playing LeBron and Kyrie Irving. You know?
And we go.
That's the difference.
That's a good point. I ain't gonna lie.
Y'all
about to play Yoke and AG, but be safe though.
Yeah, we'll catch
I can't wait. I can't wait. All
right, away, my boy. We gonna talk though.
For sure. It's good talking to y'all. Thank you for having me on, bro.
Of
course, my boy. Good to have you.
So moving on to our next topic of today, we got some football for you guys. So I need y'all to tell me who was your pick to come out the AFC and the NFC.
So the AFC was hard for me, but it's a variety of factors. I know. I'm picking. I'm gonna listen though. I'm gonna pick Drake in the past, but in the same breath, I would borderline want to also go with because Josh is gonna make the playoffs. It was hard for me to not pick Josh because Patrick, Joe, or Pat is not gonna be in the playoffs, and I feel like when he sees, even though it's gonna be an away game, when he goes to New England or when he goes to Denver to play either of those teams, don't have a reason yet to believe that either of those quarterbacks will be able to knock Josh out of the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Drake and the Pats, but it's hard because I was a bit in between that and picking Josh and the Bills. Now, for the NFC side, the Eagle and me really want to pick the Birds, but then it's also like they haven't shown me a reason as to why they would beat the Rams. So I would have to go with Drake and the Patriots on the AFC, and then I would have to go with the Rams. Like they look like the best team in football right now. I'm not even gonna lie. So it's like that would be my two to come out of each to go to the Super Bowl.
Got you. I'm not mad at that at all. What about you, E?
I told y'all last week I think the Rams is the best team in the NFL, so that's my pick to come out the NFC. I'm not explaining that no more. I think we can all see that, like he said, in terms of the Eagles. I'm just like they frying me. I'm cool off them. And the AFC, okay, cool, Josh. Hopefully, I hope Josh see the Patriots because they lost that division game early on in the season, and like you said, I don't think that Drake is getting out of that duel in a W, but I don't think it's a Drake versus Josh thing or a Bo versus Josh thing. Like it's gonna be Josh versus Pat Surtain. You know what I mean? And the corner on the other side, the white boy, I forget his name, but he nice too. The boy on the defensive line, I think his name Benito or something like that. He nice too. So yeah, so it's like I'm not okay, cool. He might beat the Patriots, but I told y'all last week who have they beat. I'm not sold on the Patriots anyway. I think the Broncos are the most convincing team in the AFC right now because I think that their defense is, I'm not going to say dominant, but their defense is consistently a factor on a week-to-week basis, and they make plays when plays need to be made. So I think that that's the deciding factor in Denver getting out of the AFC. And as of right now, I don't see, especially with the injury to Daniel Jones, I don't really see nobody going into a matchup with Denver where they should be the favorite.
Got you. So for me, I'm gonna start with the NFC because we are unanimous over there. It's definitely the Rams. The Rams has been the best team in the NFC for a couple of weeks now. Even with that hiccup to Carolina, I'm not really counting that game. It is what it is. Every team have a game like that once a year at least. So yeah, Rams coming out the NFC. The AFC for me. Before I get my two picks, I do want to give a shout out to Deanna at my job because she's been saying this for the longest. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to say it was week 2 or week 3. She told me. She said, "I just feel like the Denver Broncos are gonna come out the AFC this year and go to the Super Bowl." Mind you, she's a Chiefs fan, so she picked Denver. This is all the way back in like week 2 or week 3, and right now I do think that it's either going to be one or two teams to come out the AFC. That first team is the Denver Broncos, and then the second team I think that might possibly come out the AFC is the Texans. Now, at the beginning of the year, I was high on the Texans. I told y'all I think
I
this would
like
be their
that
year.
pick, my nigga. I like that.
I told y'all I think this would be their year. Then CJ disappointed me starting the season. Then he get hurt. And then he come back, act like he don't know how to play football. I guess when they seen the Colts 2 weeks ago, he realized that the season is on the line. So either I'm gonna start playing football now or the season is over. So he been hooping the last 2 weeks. And so that defense is outstanding. That is a Super Bowl caliber defense. I love the Texans defense. So with that defense and D'Amico Ryans is a great coach. Obviously, you got CJ at quarterback. You got Nico Collins. You got Joe Mixon. You got Dalton Schultz, who's a solid tight end. Exactly. You got. Oh wait, what did you say? I can't.
I see you don't got Joe Mixon still in that boot.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, is he really? Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they got Nick Chubb and Willie Marks.
Willie Marks. Yeah. Yeah, Woody Marks been balling though, so yeah, I'm not even worried about that. Woody Marks
They just
been doing his job.
they just reported that he was going to miss the remainder of the season, and then Joe came out and was like, "How you know more than me?" Well, my stats. You were supposed to be back the beginning of the season, then it turned into the whole season.
They put him on a 4-game IR. Like, bro, niggas drafted you. I'm niggas. Like, come on.
Heavy on it. Like,
but no, you got Woody Marks in the backfield doing his job, and I just think this team can kind of do what the 49ers did, 2 years ago, where the defense was so good and Brock just needed to make timely plays and timely throws and go out there and drive the team down the field when asked to do it. But the defense for the remainder of the part, for the majority of the season, kept that team together. And I think the Texans they're made up the same as the 49ers of 2 years ago, and I do think that CJ is slightly better than Brock right now. I'm only saying slightly because this has been a down year for CJ, and I'm going to grade him accordingly. So I do think though that defense, and as long as he keep it together on the offensive end, I can see them beating anybody in the AFC. And so I would not be shocked if we look up and the Texans are in the Super Bowl or the Denver Broncos.
I love that Texans pick, bro. The only reason the Texans wouldn't be higher on my list is
Mhm.
because, like you said, this is what's this year 4, CJ? If this was year 1, CJ, then they gotta be the favorite to come out the AFC because of the way that he was playing football that year. But
Mhm.
when you just compared them to the 49ers, I think that that's also an accurate comparison. But the difference is Brock, and even when Jimmy G was on the squad, like the weapons around him, you got George Kittle at tight end, you got C Mac playing running back, which he playing running back, he playing slot receiver, he playing whatever you need him to play, and then he still had weapons playing receiver. Right now, you look at CJ squad. Dalton Schultz is serviceable, he's solid, but he's not special. Nico is elite, but then after that, you got young guys, and I'm not saying that the young receivers aren't hungry, but
Mhm.
I think that when you look at that 49ers team, they had at least 3 locked playmakers outside of their quarterback. So it's easy sometimes to just put the ball in your playmaker's hand. You could run a short slant for George Kittle and watch him run for 40 yards after the catch. You could run a screen for C-Mac and watch him go work. I don't know. Like, and again, like you said, Willie Marks has been playing good football, but I don't know right now that I can say, all right, cool, we can't depend on CJ to move the ball down the field right now. Here you go, Willie Marks, make some shake. He's not Darren Sproles. So that's where it's like, all right, cool. I'll put the Texans a little, lower down on my list in terms of teams coming out the AFC. But I think that if the defense can create a turnover and win the turnover war very early on in the game and then not be pressure on CJ and that offense to score every time down or every other possession, then I think they'll be in a great space. Because like you said, it's nobody right now that's lining up against Houston with confidence. Like you can't nobody scoring them guys right now. And if you score it, then again we gonna make the stop that matters. So
Exactly. And like Ian, I was just about to come back at you with a rebuttal, but you basically answered it for me. I was gonna say the difference between the 49ers defense and the Texans defense is both could stop people, but the Texans defense is getting takeaways like it's no tomorrow. And that's gonna be the difference maker come postseason. So yeah, CJ might not score every time he get the ball, but I promise you, he's going one of them times he's gonna step on the field already in the other opponent territory,
right, right.
already in field goal range at least one time every playoff game. That defense get takeaways. So yeah, that's just how I feel about it. So moving on to the next topic for today, we're gonna start with John on this one before I even announce it. Uh-huh. So yeah, we got some college football for y'all today.
Yo,
Michigan
crazy.
head coach Sharon Moore fired due to credible information informing Michigan of an active, inappropriate relationship with a staff member. How you feel about it?
I think I think based off a board response, well, it is although it is shocking and breaking news,
Mm-hmm.
this is very regular in the space. Not gonna lie, like as far as scandals go, and people and not players, people in positions of quote unquote power, having inappropriate relationships they really shouldn't be. And then as far as him, I think he you had the aspect of okay, you threw away as a black man, you threw away millions of dollars to cheat on your wife, destroy your home, and now at this point be facing jail time because of his response. And I think also when you consider like, okay, you did you did this and you had to take ownership, but in the same breath, why he's being charged right now is because you got caught and then you pulled up on the assistant and basically say, yo, I'm gonna take my life and my blood is on your hands because we got caught. Like, come on, bro. Like you just gotta you take a L. Like you can't pull up on not no child, but you can't pull up on somebody that you having a fling with and then say, oh yeah, I'm gonna take my life. Like that's corny. And also it's also it even looks another avenue I take it. It's even worse too, because for those that didn't know, this coach is Michigan's head coach because of Jim. When Jim left last year, he put it in his contract that he wanted this guy to be Michigan's head coach. So now, not only do you are you doing this something you're not supposed to be doing, you get caught. Now they not even gonna consider because it's not the first time we've seen. It's not even gonna consider trying to make this a cover up so that you can get off. Now you're making Jim look bad because it's like okay, you advocated and you vouched to put this guy in this position in this coaching position where you could have got our own guy anyway. So all in all, it's just definitely another situation, and this to be. He's got charged today actually on stalking and breaking into the joint home and all that. So like I said, it's to be seen what his actual his time is or what his punishment is. But it's just all in all, this is a nutty situation on all ends. So
Gotcha.
Yeah,
What's
I
your
agree, bro. I don't really got no extended opinion beyond what John just said. Um, he was moving nutty and he was moving selfishly. He wasn't thinking about, consequences for him, his family, the players on the team. Because I think that that's something that we haven't talked about yet, right? And I feel like John mentioned, that this was a Jim Harbaugh situation, not necessarily a hand-picked coach by Michigan, but at the end of the day, he had those guys out there, those students out there ready to play, right? And regardless of if the season is halfway through, midway through, almost over, whatever, like I understand from both sides now the time and the intention that it takes to invest in a coach and player relationship. And so
Mhm.
for some of these kids, he is probably a father figure or a mentor and those kind of things. And like I said, so it's one thing to be able to say, all right, I'm a grown man, I had to get my rocks off, or whatever, like she was whatever you want to, whatever the excuse is with that. I'm gonna let him and his wife handle that, right? Because he know what he did is wrong, and we don't have to talk about this grown man cheating on his wife being wrong. But from a coaching perspective, from a sports side of things, this will still have an effect on his mental. If he's able to be removed from this and ever able to coach again, I think it's going to have an effect on some of the players. And if there are players that, like I said, was close to him, what is their relationship now? Is this a conversation that's had? What is your explanation? Because it's not only you made a mistake, but you made a mistake, and then the snowball effect, things only got worse. And like as a man, it's okay to make a mistake, but you mean like I'm not judging you based off your mistakes. I'm judging you based off how you respond and how you react, and his response has been poor as well.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna piggyback off everything that both of you guys said. I agree with both of y'all. I do think that he was wrong in the situation. Obviously, it's no getting around that. And I just want to point this out. I do think that Michigan, kind of like what John said. Okay, maybe if he didn't respond the way he responded, they might have would have tried to cover it up. But I don't even believe that to be true, because I think that Michigan wanted him gone at the end of this year, regardless of what they found out with the scandal, just for the simple fact that, okay, 2 years ago, Jim Harbaugh leave, he left you in charge after we just won the national championship. Last year we go 5-4, we're unranked, we missed the playoffs. This year, okay, we go 9-3, we're ranked, we still missed the playoff, we're ranked number 18. That's not good in Michigan. Michigan football is not good enough. So I honestly, I do think this was just an excuse for them to let go of him, but I don't even want to call it an excuse, because I do think it is a valid reason to let go of him. Not even just because of how he responded. This is the thing that kind of upset me. I think his situation and Ime's situation is different, because okay, Ime did what he did, but one, Ime wasn't the only one in the building that was doing that with that specific person. That's number one. And number two,
Yeah,
Ime ain't promote that person and just start giving them money just to give
right,
them money.
right. He was
Now
just
what he did, what he did was crazy. You gave her a promotion, had her in a position that nine times I don't know her background, but I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10 she may have not been the best qualified for. And then her pay increase was crazy. I know y'all seen the joint she was making.
yeah, it almost doubled.
I'm about to say, I don't even think she got a promotion. When she was in the same position, he just
Yeah.
gave her a 55%
50,
pay
yeah,
increase. That went from
$55,000 a year
58,000
to
to
90.
90,000. Like,
Like at one year, like that was crazy. Now you just playing around with the school financials because of how you feel, bro. You're there to do a job and run a business.
man, he playing 2K. Like,
Yeah,
my
like,
dude. Like,
bro,
come
what are
on,
you
bro.
doing? What are you doing?
Come on,
You're
bro.
not there for that. You there for these kids. help these kids grow and develop into the best football player / young men that they can be. If you want to work with financials, okay, help them go get the best NIL deal that they can get. Like not what you was doing. So for me, that is what makes it wrong, and that is why I'm not upset that they fired him, because you can't explain that. You can't explain that. Why did she just get an additional $45,000 a year? Why?
Exactly. And then I'll double down, like Ian said, where it's all about how you respond. Just like Jamar a couple weeks ago. Like, bro,
Yeah, but the spitting
watch,
situation.
yeah, we watched you spit on Bo in 4K, and you get in the joint talking about, no, I ain't spit on him. Same thing with this boy. Like, you get caught, and then you gonna pull up with a weapon, talking about I'll take my life. My blood is on your hands. Like, you cook. What you mean? Like, just take your own chin, bro. Like,
Yeah, like you was a grown man. You made that decision. Jim Harbaugh set you up. Without Jim Harbaugh, you're 9 times out of 10, you're not the head coach. You look like us. You're not gonna be the head coach. He put you in a great position, and they was paying you well. It wasn't like, all right, you got the position, but now you got to take this BS salary. You was getting paid what everybody else was getting paid.
millions of dollars.
Yeah, you mean? And so it is what like y'all been saying, it is what it is. You got to take it on the chin. You don't show up to nobody's house. Now you sitting behind bars.
About to get divorced.
Yeah. Now you sit behind bars when you probably could have been sitting at a B&B or a motel or something, because you was definitely getting put out the crib. But at least you ain't behind bars. Now you behind bars, and now you like trying to fight to stay out of jail. You last week you was just the head coach on the sideline.
Not even last week, dude. 3 days ago. What are you talking about?
You about to be in the
Michigan apparel on the chest.
And the whole time, I'm Jim. Yo, don't, at least me personally, like, don't take my, no, not even, but don't take my recommendation. I put you on, and then you draw. If I'm Jim, I'm right on his line. Nigga, is you cool? Straight like that.
I told them they was in good hands. They done fell apart in 2 years. Unranked, missing the playoffs, people getting paid that shouldn't get paid. Like, what is going on? So yeah,
the money was the craziest thing to me, like you said. Like,
that was the craziest thing to me too. That's why I'm not mad that they let him go. I can't defend that at all. And so with that, we can leave it there. We can move on to our last topic of today. We got our game of the day. We got the Hawks taking on the Pistons at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Who y'all got in this matchup?
There too. You talking about the moving forward, how we gonna do it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I know. I forgot.
No, you're good. And then no, you're good. And then also with the tonight, I'm gonna pick the Pistons. This is a terrible slate too, folks. We apologize. Like the games today, as we was mulling over who we winning for our game of the day, it's just all bad vibes. Like you got Nets, Mavs, Jazz, Grizzlies, Bulls, Hornets. It's just
Nets.
It's a nasty day, but I'm gonna pick the Pistons, and then moving forward, our new game 2 we'll have on the screen for y'all. We're gonna keep track of each host's record as opposed to what winning and losing on a week-to-week basis. And at the end of the season, the host with the host with the best record will have a surprise for y'all too. Just add another element to this game that we have, and then also, you're watching live in the comments. Also give your take on who you got in our game of the day too, since we be doing it every week until obviously the end of the season, which will be in the spring. So like I said, I'm picking the Pistons tonight. Quite frankly, very easy. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, if we wasn't about to start recording records, then I picked the Hawks on the limb just because Jalen Johnson's been playing good basketball, and sometimes you just got to pick the upset. But this is counted, so I'll give me the Pistons. Give me K.
Mm-hmm. Me and Ian, we on the same page. I might have picked the Hawks just to spice it up a little bit. You mean, son? You mean a son that's not gonna be in the L column? But no, because now I got to look at it like, would I put my money on them against the Pistons tonight? Hell no. Hell no. So yeah, I'm going Pistons tonight as well. You mean? So I think we are unanimous in this. We all got Pistons tonight. I do think it's gonna be a great game though, with the emergence of Jalen Johnson. He's been balling, and he's looking like he's not just a role player. He's looking like he can be a star.
Mm-hmm. Did he have 4 triple doubles in a row? Ain't he on a triple double, like a 4-game streak of triple doubles? He going crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to
So
him.
honestly, shout out to him. I was watching when he was balling out on Yoke. They played the Nuggets not too long. No, for real, they played the Nuggets
That
not too
was
long.
that was last week. They barely won. The
Kill
Nuggets
on the
barely
last possession,
won.
and Nikhil Alexander took away.
Your facts.
Yeah, I was watching the joint. By halftime, he had like 17 and 12. I'm like, oh, all right, on Yoke,
Yeah.
17 points, 12 rebounds. He was having his way out there.
Yoke had to put a 40 on them for them to beat them. So
He did though. Shout out to the guys.
Honestly, if we don't have anything else there, we can wrap it up. Make sure y'all go check us out on Instagram at Everything X Goes. Make sure y'all check out the story. We had a sweep last night. Had a parlay 2 solo picks for y'all. You know we coming through. We
money.
You mean we making some money for the hood. Make sure y'all tap into it, and we catch y'all on the next one.
Yes, sir. Here comes.